Listen, man, no one's gonna tell you this, but I will. There's a truth about women, about attraction, about the way they respond to a man that most men will never learn. Not because it's hidden, but because it takes a kind of pain, a kind of heartbreak, to even start looking for it. Most guys spend their whole lives chasing, begging, explaining, apologizing, and trying to prove themselves to women who stopped caring the moment they felt he needed her more than she needed him. And here's the bitter truth. The more you chase, the less she values you. The more you pour into her, the more she drinks from you without ever feeling full. And the more you try to make her see your worth, the more invisible you become. But if you've been burned before, if you felt that silence from a woman who once lit up every time you texted, if you've watched her pull away while you scramble to fix things, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's from that wound that I'm going to speak to you now, because I've lived it, I've studied it, and I've seen what happens when a man flips the script. You want her to chase you? You want her to think about you when she's lying awake at night, wondering why you aren't blowing up her phone? You want her to feel that itch, that hunger, that pull back toward you again and again? Then you need to understand something most men never do. Attraction is not about what you give her, it's about what you withhold. Not in a cruel way, not in some manipulative game, but in a way that recenters your life on you, not on her. Because here's the proven way to make her chase. You stop chasing, you stop negotiating, you stop proving, and instead, you become the kind of man who doesn't need to be chased, but gets chased anyway. Now, I know how that sounds. It sounds abstract, it sounds like a riddle, but stay with me. By the time I'm done, you're gonna see this with crystal clarity, and once you do, you'll never look at women, or yourself, the same way again. Most men don't realize that they are addicted to the attention of a woman. They get a high from the connection, from the validation, from the texts that make them feel wanted. And when that connection fades, they panic, they crave, they reach, they beg, in subtle ways, through words, through gestures, through constant attempts to reclaim her. But attraction doesn't work that way. Desire isn't earned through need. It isn't bought with gifts. It isn't nurtured by explanations. Desire is stirred by absence, by mystery, by the feeling that this man has a life that doesn't depend on her, yet he's the one she can't resist being a part of. You have to learn to detach, not from love, not from your values, not from your integrity, but from the chaos of her emotions, from the uncertainty, from the testing. Women will test a man they respect. They will push, pull, disappear, and return. And if you flinch, if you react, if you let your fear dictate your behavior, she will sense it and the pull will weaken. But if you remain grounded, if you remain unmoved, if you live with a calm, steady presence, she will chase you without consciously knowing why. Emotional detachment doesn't mean ignoring her or being cold. It means creating a life where your worth isn't determined by her responses. It means having your own world, your career, your hobbies, your health, your friendships, and letting her see that you are whole without her. And paradoxically, that wholeness is what will draw her back in, because women are drawn to men who are complete, men who are stable, men who can hold their center when the storm of emotion hits. When she senses that you are no longer available in the way you once were, she starts to experience scarcity. Scarcity is a subtle force, almost invisible, but it works like gravity. When something is scarce, it becomes valuable. When a man's time, attention, and emotional energy are no longer unlimited, she can't help but take notice. And here's the subtlety. It isn't just about absence, it's about presence in the right way. You become the man who is fully present for himself first, and any interaction with her is a bonus, not a necessity. That is magnetic. That is irresistible. That is what makes her chase. The most powerful part of this process is that it transforms you too. Because in focusing on yourself, you stop living in reaction. You stop letting your moods, your fears, and your insecurities control your decisions. You start to see women clearly, not through the fog of need, not through the lens of desperation, but with clarity, with calm, with insight. And with clarity comes choice. You begin to choose who you invest in, when you invest, and how you allow yourself to be affected by others. That kind of internal mastery isn't just attractive, it's rare. And here's another brutal truth most men refuse to face. The woman who has pulled away is not doing it because she doesn't care. She's testing the boundaries. She's measuring the man against her expectations. She's feeling for the edge of the connection, seeing if he stands or collapses. And the men who collapse are predictable. They chase, they negotiate, they beg. The men who stand firm, who do not overreact, who live as if their world is whole without her, those men are the ones who get the chase, over and over again. You might be thinking, but what if she never comes back? That fear is the trap. It's the exact trap most men fall into. When you focus on the possibility of loss, you act from weakness. When you focus on your own growth, your own life, your own mission, you act from power. And power is magnetic. Power creates longing. Power makes her wonder what she's missing, what she can't have unless she meets the man on his terms, not the other way around. Here's a simple framework to understand it, though you won't see it in any mainstream advice. Stop seeking her validation. Start creating your own. Stop proving your worth to her. Start living your worth fully. Stop reacting to her moods. Start responding to your standards. Stop making her central and make yourself central. The irony is that in making yourself central, you make her more present in your life than ever, but on her terms, pulled by desire, curiosity, and respect, rather than pushed by need. The most profound shift happens in your mind. You learn to stay calm when she pulls away, composed when she is silent, grounded when she tests you. This doesn't happen overnight. It comes through repetition, experience, and the painful understanding that your emotions belong to you alone. The man who masters this becomes unshakable, magnetic, inevitable. And when she senses that, she can't resist. She chases. She returns. She engages again and again, drawn to a man untouchable by need, yet fully alive. This isn't manipulation, it's alignment with the truth of attraction. You cannot control her actions, but you can control your presence, your discipline, and your life. Women sense the difference. A man who is whole, who is his own priority, who does not bend to whims. That difference is magnetic. That difference makes them chase. It's not arrogance, it's self-respect. Your value is inherent, not conditional. Build a life so full that another's presence is a compliment, not a crutch. When she feels that energy, she leans in, she notices, she chases, not out of need, but desire. So when she pulls away, don't panic. Stay grounded, live fully, radiate calm authority. Let her feel your absence and your presence, and she will chase. This is how a man moves from seeking validation to becoming a magnet of desire through mastery, power, and presence. Step into that power, man. Live deliberately and watch her chase again and again and again